All right, so I want to review coordinate systems for everybody. Coordinate systems are if you want to plot some, like sort of visually represent solutions to equations or just numbers themselves, then you might use a coordinate system. And I wanna sort of break this up into like the number of dimensions. So the D, capital D here, stands for dimension. I'm going to start with introducing the one-dimensional coordinate system. So that would be what I introduced in the previous video, the continuum, the just number line, right? It's got 0 somewhere on it. Maybe here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. And it's got negative numbers on the left. There's -1. And those are just the integers, but of course it's got the whole continuum of numbers, right? And so this is a one-dimensional coordinate system, and you can plot something in here. Let's say we want to plot this number. Like, let's say this is 1.87 or something. You can plot points like this in a one-dimensional coordinate system. We'll also later be plotting like intervals, entire intervals of numbers, like sets of numbers, okay? But a lot of times in algebra class, we're dealing with equations and functions and things where we have two variables, either like an x and a y, or sort of an input and an output. And so we need a two-dimensional coordinate system to work with. So let's go ahead and draw. We're going to have essentially two variables, x and y, and so we need two continuums, which we're going to call the axes. So there we go. So there's two axes. We'll have the x-axis, traditionally that one, and the y-axis, which is this one. So this is the way it's traditionally drawn. I'd like you to do it this way just for consistency. And now we've taken our what is basically a two-dimensional flat plane here, which is like the paper I'm drawing on, and we've partitioned it or separated it into 4 different what are called quadrants. So this is quadrant 1, and this over here is quadrant 2, down here is quadrant 3, this is quadrant 4. So I'm just abbreviating with Q there. That's Q stands for quadrant. And that's traditionally the order in which the quadrants are laid out. That gives us a way of talking about the numbers down here, where x is negative and y is negative. Those are in quadrant 3, and we all know what that means. Now this point where the axes meet is where, we usually put that where x is 0 and y is 0 on those two continuums. That's called the origin at 0, 0. I'll put its coordinates in here as well. So speaking of coordinates, the value of a coordinate system like this is that if you have any combination of numbers for your values of the two variables, you can consider that to be like a point in the plane. And vice versa, if you have any point on the plane, then you can label it with a pair of numbers. So let's say we have this point here. Sorry, I'm at home, and you can probably hear my son. So I apologize. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so if you have a point anywhere in the plane, we can give it a name. And what we do is we kind of measure along vertical and horizontal lines, and we imagine we have some sort of hypothetical grid all over the place. And we find out what numbers we're talking about here. So maybe this is like 4. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo this.